Hey, what's up, guys? This is Strange Productions here. Welcome back to another episode. I have your guest store today. This will be a little update on everything that's been happening, as well as railroad talk time. I know a lot of people need to hear this before going to the railroad, before deciding if the railroad is something that they want to have a career in, if that's the path they want to choose. So I'm here to talk to you guys and give you guys some advice on how to proceed with those steps. Uh, what location, what railroad is may best fit you, etc. So let's get into it. So the first updates, I know I've been slow on YouTube videos. I recently had my wisdom teeth pulled. I want to say like was it was like I think Wednesday the 29th. I want to say that day was. It was like the end of November. I just made a full recovery, so I'll be back working. I've been trying to make a lot of simulator videos since I really can't do anything else, and a couple of railroad talk shows, and have not been successful with that. I apologize. I did record a few sessions on my simulator and this and that, so those will be coming up soon. I do have a couple rail fanning videos. I have one from when my fiance and I, my now fiance, if you guys didn't know, I'm engaged with my lovely fiance who's having fun in there. She's not feeling good. So that's been going on lately. So we're trying to get our lives and all that started together. I just took a recent trip down to Dallas, Texas to go see my mother and see her new place, and just discovered Dallas and this, that, and the third. Finally went to the C.R. Smith Museum. Got my my camera's backwards. My American Airlines hat here, my brand new one. I love it. So spiffy, so clean. I love it. My other airline hats are just trash. So it's time to invest in some airline stuff, just for my sake. I know since I work for the railroad, I'm supposed to invest in railroad stuff, hats, beanies, this and that. It's like I miss the airlines, so I need to show my brothers and sisters some love over in the aviation field. Love you guys. You know who it, you know I'm talking to. So let's get into this video. Apart from the updates and everything else that's been happening. So a lot of people are going into the railroad now. That it's something that they want to do for a long time. Maybe it's a career that you've never heard of and you want to give it a new try. Like give it a try. It's something new. This, that, and the third. And so I'm going to be talking to you guys about all the advice I can give you, from new hire to probation to this, that, etc. And the third. I like to say that a lot. I don't know why. It's just something I've been saying recently. So first of all, excuse me, that's behind me. I've been trying to organize my desk. As you can see, it's going very, very well. I also draw maps for all of our terminals as well. So I'm trying to get into map design, map making, taking notes on different territories. There's a lot of people who are coming in who are new that do not have access to all that stuff, and so therefore I'm trying to provide as much detail as I can on certain locals, certain yard jobs around for the terminal I work at, for the railroad I work at, as well as road notes. The best places to get crew changes, where not to block crossings, dog catching, this, that. So, and the third. So, yes, I will be smoking. I know a lot of people have a problem with me vaping. Viewers' discretion is advised. I do smoke nicotine, 5%, which I know it bothers the kids. Don't do what I do. It's a long story how I got into smoking, why I like it, etc. So, coming on as a railroader, it's a long, lengthy process. And when I mean long, I'm talking months, almost a year, maybe 2 years. So do expect everything to be delayed and pushed back. There's only a certain amount of students that can go into a class, that can go into a railroad session, that can go onto the railroad at a time. And although you may be hired on with your friend, there could be about 30 other people, 40, 50 plus, that just got hired on as well. And only certain classes can take certain sizes, depending on where you're located, how the program is spewed out, depending on what railroad you work for. I'm speaking on behalf of, well, not behalf of, from experience from 2 railroads that I have either worked for or currently working. As you guys know what railroad I do work for. As I've said many times. Personally, I'm happy where I'm working at. It's great money. It's great pay. It's got amazing benefits. There are some downfalls. Of course, every job has downfalls, and I'm not talking down on anybody. First of all, I'm not being paid to talk about this. This is coming from my opinion officially, from my experience, from experience from people that I know, and for experience for what new people coming in are going to experience. And I think this is really important. I just got off the phone with a friend, and he told me the struggles he's having with his railroad, and the advice I gave him is the same advice I want to give to you guys. The railroad is a very, very safety sensitive career. You work in the elements, you're on call 24/7. There's a lot of information out there that you must know in class, and they teach you this stuff in class, right? You're supposed to have top-notch instructors who are supposed to help you, guide you through, and answer every question you may have, or teach you how to look up the answer. And of course, you'll have some of those assholes out there. Part of my language, via discretion is advice. I cuss, in case you guys don't know. If those of you who've been on my YouTube channel for the last 11 years. So, more than that, actually. I think 13 years. 12, 13 maybe. Anyways, so it is very, very crucial that all the information you receive while you're in training, you obtain it, you study it, you learn it, you practice it word for word, example by example, lesson by lesson. You're going to have a lot of information thrown at you, right? Don't freak out. You are not the only one that's going through the same thing. There are some people who get it just like that, and they're good. There's some people out there that takes a little bit of time. I'm both of those. The first railroad I worked for, it took me a little bit to understand and get used to. Of course, that was the first time ever working for a railroad. Now, the second railroad that I'm working at, which is right now currently, I feel 100% more confident. I can perform the job safely, efficiently, and to the best of my example and knowledge of those who have taught me the way that they have learned as well, especially for those who've been there for 20 plus years. As I like to take a little challenge from old heads. Old heads meaning people who've been at the railroad for literally ever, 30 years, 40 years, they were like 20 plus. For those old heads, old heads are usually grumpy. They hate life. They hate they hate what they do. They hate themselves. They hate a lot of things, and they're just hateful people. But they're the first people that are going to teach you the right way to do things. They're the ones that are going to criticize you on what you're doing wrong and show you and tell you how to do it right. But they can only do it so much to where if you're not getting it, they're not going to help you out. But that's where you'll know when you work for the railroad if you're doing a good job or not. So, what to expect. So, we already covered the hiring process, right? A brief talk of the hiring process with the duration to expect. So, when you come to an interview, right, they're going to ask you a lot of safety questions, right? They're going to put you in scenarios to where you need to explain how you went through this particular scenario, whatever scenario they give you. For example, you're in a rainstorm and you see your brakeman struggling to keep car counts because it's it's just you can't see outside. What do? Well, the safest option is to stop the operation until you can see, because if you can't see, how can you shove a train if you can't see, right? You're the eyes and ears of the engineer. You are in charge of that train. So, examples like that. I'll give you another one. You see two coworkers are fighting over something. What do? Right? You can break up the fight. You can contact the manager, let them know what's going on. There's many scenarios you can come up with, right? And it can be the stupidest scenarios, or it could be the scenarios that actually make sense, and those are the scenarios they're testing you on to see what your skills, how efficient your skills are to what is going to be needed on the railroad, right? Whether it's working with customers, whether it's working with peers, whether it's working with management, whether it's working with heavy equipment, right? Whether it's whether it's putting yourself in certain situations that you feel safe in or not feel safe in. What do you do? How do you react? What do you what are your options? What's your final solution to the problem, right? So, with stuff like that. And then once you pass your interview, if you pass your interview, a lot of people fuck this up. You're going to get a major background check. And when I mean major, I mean federally major. They're going back all the way till your birth. They're going to check your records for if you've been in and out of jail or prison, your illegal activity, your driving record, if you have any kind of, just stuff like that, right? They are also going to drug test you. Folks, let me tell you something. The drug tests are no joke. They're going to snip your hair. They're going to give you a piss test, right? And they're going to give you a physical examination. Some railroads, you actually have to use what's called isotonic machine. What's an isotonic machine? Well, an isotonic machine is where you, it's a big machine that you sit in this chair, they strap you in, and you're supposed to move your arms and legs against this machine that is literally pulling and pushing against your force of power. They want to see how strong you are, right? Because you're going to have to carry knuckles. You're going to have to carry all kinds of tools and equipment with you, and they can be pretty heavy. The heaviest thing you'll have to deal with there is probably a broken knuckle. A broken knuckle weighs anywhere between 50 and 70 pounds. It varies. Some train cars are, different than others. So, but every knuckle's pretty much the same, anywhere between 50 to 75 pounds. I would push and say 80 pounds just to give you like some clearance there. They want to know if you can lift heavily. Are you okay working the environments? In all the elements. You're going to work in snow, rain, sleet, hail. It's going to be cold. It's going to be hot. It's going to, you're going to see. You're going to not see. So, when you see me, like visibility, it's going to be foggy. It's going to be clear. You got all kinds of stuff that you're going to be dealing with out there. One thing I want to warn you guys about is animals. Animals, trespassers, crazy people. You need to watch yourself out there because especially in my territory, I got mountain lions, I have bobcats, I got bear now, I got coyotes, big coyotes that have no problem cleaning you off. Someone said they saw Bigfoot. One of my engineers said he thought I saw Bigfoot one time. I'm not I'm a believer. I believe there are things out there that we haven't discovered. Who knows what's out there, right? So, but you're not going to know until you find out. Hopefully you don't find out Bigfoot's real. If you do, you're probably somewhere in Washington State or maybe Montana. But anyways, getting back into it, they're going to test you on that stuff. Not give you like an actual written test. But you know what? They will give you a pre-employment exam. The pre-employment exam, what's doing is testing your abilities, just like an interview, right? They're getting to know you. And all that stuff. They want to see what your working skills are. They want to put you through scenarios, like I mentioned. They're going to do the same thing during your interview. But even to get to the interview, you got to do the pre-employment exam. Some railroads do that, some don't. The first railroad I worked for didn't do that. This railroad I'm working for now, they did that. So, and yes, it is hard to pass. It kind of is hard to pass because it's really throwing you a curve. Remember, you are not better than anybody else. You're not worse than everybody else. You are the average Joe. That's the key to passing all these tests. You're the average person out there. You're not better than anybody else. You're not worse than everybody else. I just want to make that clear. So, because a lot of people, and I've done this too, even with Amtrak. It's hard to get in with Amtrak, right? Amtrak's got those same tests out there to where they're testing your abilities. And they're giving you the same skills and knowledge tests. Mechanical tests too, mathematical tests. So they want to see how fast you can answer these questions because some of those questions are timed. How you apply your skills, and how you literally do everything else. So if you can do that, then you'll be good. And again, that's a hard lesson I've learned trying to get on the railroad for years. And that's what happened. So you get through the pre-employment exam, you get through the interview, you get through the physical background drug test, right? Now comes time for getting down to business. So you show up day one at your terminal, at your training facility, wherever you're at. The one thing I'm going to tell you, and like I said, my friend is struggling with this because he has bad instructors that don't teach you this lesson. Well, this is the lesson I want to teach you. Your rule books are the number one key source to all of your answers, right? Where are you running from?
The video.
Oh, you're fine. That is my lovely fiance. For those of you who do not know, that I was mentioning earlier. Those of you who don't follow me on Facebook and Instagram, we got engaged back in October, so that's my fiance. I don't give a fuck.
I do.
Who cares?
I do.
It's not about you.
I didn't.
Want to go say hi to everybody?
Maybe.
Okay, come here. It's not live. It's just recording.
Oh.
This is my fiance, Louisa. So, hello. So, this is my lovely fiance. I'm explaining to all these folks out here about railroading.
Well, of course you are.
Would you like to join?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it, so I can't say anything.
Maybe you can learn like everybody else will on YouTube here.
You teach me shit every day.
Fair point. Are you learning?
If I can repeat shit back to you, then yeah, I'm kind of learning.
There you go. You're funny. I love you.
Love you too. I wish you would have told me that you were recording.
Oh, sometimes I just record sometimes. I just come up with ideas. It's like I gotta do it, otherwise I'm gonna lose my thoughts forever. Because if I don't, yeah. So.
Okay, have fun.
I will. Everybody say bye to my lovely fiance, who will just be watching and observing in the corner.
Hi.
Love you.
Love you too.
So, anyways, where were we? Oh, yeah. So, you get in the class. The number one thing that you need to understand is the rule books, the air brake and train handling rules, the system special instructions, timetable stuff. Now, your timetable stuff, you're going to learn on the road. You're going to learn that during your on-the-job training or your OJT. So your main things you need to understand is your rule books, your system special instructions, your SSI, your air brake train handling, right, which has to deal with cars, locomotives, etc. It's whoa, hang on. Where
I
do you do
didn't know
that?
it was attached.
There you go. There you go. Oh, I got it. It's good. I'm good. So those are the things you gotta learn, as well as signals. Signals you need to know. Railroads are different with signals. CSX has their own signals, NS has their signals, BNSF has their signals, UP, Ferromex, whatever railroad you're on, CPKC. Everybody's got their own signals. Some are easier to understand than others. So that's why it is important for you to study those signals, right? The signals are the easiest thing to understand. So if you get through the signals, that's already 1/4 of your training done. The other parts of your training, and again, every railroad's different. So a lot of times you'll do your classroom stuff first, and then your OJT. Sometimes you do classroom, OJT, and back to classroom, OJT. Everybody's different. This is just personal experience from 2 railroads that I've worked on or are currently working on. So, I'll give you an example. NS, right? Because I know NS. I worked for NS. Day 1, they give you what's called the hang test. You'll be climbing up a side of a fake rail car. It's called the static station. It's static, meaning static, nothing is moving. Because it's literally just like air hoses, couplers, handbrakes, switches, all this stuff. And it's not a train car. It's like literally a frame. It's a frame that you cannot move at all. So that's where you do your training and stuff. So a hang test, you hang on the side of a rail car. Basically, it's a ladder on the side, and you have to swing your lantern for minute and 5 seconds, or minute and a half, I think. I can't remember. It's been too long. Then you got to remount, regrip, make sure you have 3 points of contacts all the time, and all the other stuff. For BNSF, we did classroom for 1 week. Then we did OJT for 2 weeks. And then we went back to the classroom in the actual training facility. So we trained in the terminal. for the first 3 weeks. First week was classroom, then it was OJT, and then you go into the real classroom portion of the for 2 additional weeks, and then that's where you take your final test. Or is that where you take your final test? Yeah, so that's where you take your final test, and then no, not your final test. I'm sorry, it's not your final test. It's your it's basically whatchamacallit. It's like a practice test, and then you go do OJT for like another 6 weeks, and then you go back to the classroom for your what's called finals week. And that's where you take your final test, and that's where you mark up. If you need additional training, or if you need to be on a train that you were not able to be on, and it happens sometimes, you talk to your instructors, you talk to your turtle manager, and you figure it out so that way you can get the right training that you need. This, that, and the third. So again, everybody is just different of how they do training. But whether you're on the OJT, whether you're outside working on the train itself, whether you're in the classroom, pay attention, take a lot of notes. And I mean a lot of notes. Like just a little book like this. Like we're in your field, take a little book like this. You know, it's a cute little memo book. You get these anywhere, fucking gas station, Walmart, eBay, drug dealers, whoever, right? You can literally get all that stuff everywhere. So do that. Now, what I personally like to do is when I'm on a train, when I'm legit on a train OJT, right? When I'm assigned to a train, I like to carry a logbook, right? So that's a book to just take notes and stuff with. This is a logbook. I actually log all my trains that I've been on, the crew I was with, the engines I used, what work did we did, how long did it take, when were we on duty, what time were we not on duty, what are you watching? Oh, I was watching watching that. I was trying to figure it out. So like, you know, I'll give you an example. So this is my logbook for BNSF, right? I did a bowl job, and I did Turner, which are different yard jobs, right? I have my crew information on there. I have how many tracks I switched, engines we use, etc. So we have all kinds of stuff on there. So the railroad does not provide you with stuff like this. This is out of my own pocket. This is for my personal information. So that way, if there's something happens, maybe I haven't been on a particular job in a long time. You know, I could reference my little logbook and say, hey, I was on train 216, Turner job over in Argentine Yard. So I was on this train. I've been on 216 in, I don't know, 3 months. Let me remember what I did. I looked through my book. I was like, oh, okay. I moved auto racks from Turner to the auto facility, and I brought a couple back to this, that, and the, you know, all that stuff. So it's important to have those stuff with you. All the notes, take notebooks with you. Another thing I want to tell you, do not fall asleep. If you're that tired, you need to have energy drinks with you or find some way to keep you awake. If you're that tired and you get out of class, just go sleep, bro. Just go home or go back to your hotel, home, wherever. Go to sleep, man. Go get early bedtime, early rest, because you need all that energy for when you're out there. For OJT, usually, or not OJT, for classroom, it's usually like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. When you're doing OJT, or if you're on the road or wherever, you could be working up to 12 hours straight. And trust me, it is exhausting. Especially if you get called for a midnight train, I'm just tired and wiped out. I mean, I'm personally adjusted to the 24/7 environment, so I can literally adjust my sleep schedule as is. And I can still find myself getting plenty of sleep. I get about, and this is just me personally, I've never been the best sleeper, being a type 1 diabetic with blood sugars that change, and can't take sleeping medication because my blood sugar drops while I'm sleeping, all these other things. So, some people they have limits, right? So there's just all kinds of different stuff out there. But do what's best for you, as long as you do it safely and you can function. As long as you do that, you're good. Review your rule books every day. Review your train handling, air brake guides. Review your system's special instructions. Don't worry so much on the timetables while you're in class, because you're going to learn about... take a look at your timetable so that way you know how to look for stuff, right? So that way when you're actually on the road or when you're released, you know how to look up stuff in your timetables, because timetables have all kinds of instructions on your terminal, on the route you're going to be qualified on, speed limits, stations, sightings, footage of sightings, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be on there, and that is for every railroad. Uh, so that's what you need to do. And if someone tells you otherwise, then those are the people that you need to avoid, because those are the ones who do not care about the railroad, do not care about the job safety aspects of it. Those are just people who do not care. They don't want to be there. They're wasting your time. Be with people. And here's another thing: be in study groups. Get to know your classmates. Those classmates, even though they may not be at the same terminal you are, those are your brothers and sisters out there, right? Be a family. You don't have to like somebody. Get through it. Okay? There's going to be people in every job. You're going to hate people. And every job, you're going to love people. Or every job, you're going to be right in the middle. But study groups are a good way to learn information, because not only are you getting one side of information, other people are getting the other side of different information. And everybody can collage together and come up with ideas, and they can understand the subjects and what you all are studying together. It is simple as that. So, and a lot of people don't do that because they're too embarrassed to talk to other people, or they figured, oh, I'm Macho Man, I can figure it myself. Don't do that. If you are struggling, or if you have a lot of questions, get help. Get help. Ask questions. Talk to instructors. Talk to your classmates. Read the books. You do all that, you're golden, right? But you have to put in as much effort as you want to. Because if other people are trying to get you to put in more effort and you're not going to make it. Trust me, you're not going to make it. And I've already dealt with people like that. You know, I think, whatever. You know, my father was an engineer for the Santa Fe, this and that. Goes right into training. He's like, oh, I already know this shit. My father doesn't pass. Doesn't even come close to passing. All because of the attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. Where you set your attitude is how high you're going to fly. The higher your attitude, the higher you're going to fly, the faster you're going to go. The lower your attitude, the lower you're going to go, and you ain't going to make it. So don't cop an attitude, but have a more positive reinforcement attitude for yourself. Right? You don't have to be all happy and cheerful, but you need to be motivated. Be motivated to want to learn, to get through the training, to be the best conductor or engineer, whatever you're going into, that you can possibly be. If you continue to do that, guess what? Hey, you got it. So, it's simple. It is really simple as that. And unfortunately, there's some people out there's some instructors who don't teach you these lessons. And those are the instructors who you need to avoid. Those are railroaders who you need to avoid in general. I don't want to sit there in an engine with the mopey engineer like, oh, I fucking hate my wife, I hate my life, I hate my kids, I hate my dog, I hate this job, I hate this, I hate that. They're just full of hate. They cut the vibe, they kill the vibe, you know? It could be the shittiest situation we could be in the railroad. You know, it's storming out. We went to emergency. I gotta walk the train. My engineer's worried about me. We fix the problem. We get back on, and we go. Instead of me being like, man, fuck this place. I hate this, and that. You know, I learned something from it. It's like, hey, you know, maybe I haven't changed the knuckle in a while. How do I do this? You know, what kind of knuckle am I going to use? What kind of strategic plan can I do? And go from there. You know, there's times where you're going to have that. You know, like, there's moments I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I doing here? You know, you're going to have that, and that's completely normal. But if you let that overtake your mind, unless it's something you really don't want to do anymore, but don't let it take over your mind. Be like, yeah, you know what, I didn't like working it was raining, I didn't like it, I'm just going to quit. So don't do that. You knew what you're getting yourself into day one, because they explain this shit to you day one. They don't sugarcoat nothing. They tell you, hey, this is the railroad, this is how it is, this is how you're going to be, this is your new life. Are you in or out? Right? And that's where you determine during your training if you're in or out. Now, if you go down the road and you figure out, you know what, I really don't like this anymore, it's not for me, I'm burnt out, and you go, you know, that happens, but don't beat yourself up for it. You know, appreciate that you got to do something new. Or if you're a rail buff going into the railroad industry and that's something you want to do, fucking A, awesome. You finally get to do something that you want to do. You got to try it out. Maybe it was for you. Maybe it wasn't for you. It just didn't work out. Shit happens, right? So, you got all kinds of stuff. But the most important lesson you're going to learn is through life, is through experience. You're going to find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But as long as you're following all those rules, black and white, word for word, cover to cover, number to number, letter to letter, you'll be alright. It literally explains everything. Your rule book is your Bible, is your railroad Bible, right? You pray on the Bible for yourself. You pray on the rule books for your safety and for you to guarantee to go home to see your wife, your husband, your kids, your pets, your grandparents, whoever, your parents, whoever you may be with, or whoever is expecting you home. Or maybe you want to live to see another day, to have another better day. Whatever your attitude is, to make sure you come home safely. That's all that matters, right? Injury free. All it starts with you. That's all it takes. It starts with you. If you could do that, man, you are golden. Smoke break. I talk so much that then when I don't smoke, my brain just kind of tweaks. So if I have a little hit of nicotine, it does help. Here's my smoke trick. She taught me that, actually. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. In terms of learning railroading, learning how to go through class, learn the materials you need to know. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Those of you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, you can message me there too. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I have a question. And I'll answer your question. If I don't know the answer to your question, I'm going to do my absolute very best to find that answer for you or get somebody who can answer. If you want to join the railroad and you want to be on the railroad, by all means go for it. It may not be what you expect it to be. That's every job. You go, I was a ramp agent, right, working for the airlines. I've seen planes all the time. I'm like, man, that'll be cool to work for the airlines. I work the airlines. There's some days I'm like, man, this sucks. Lifted 70-pound bags for 10 hours straight, and it's hot outside. It sucks, right? Oh, there's storms coming. There's delays. Now I'm mandoed, which is mandatory overtime. It sucks sometimes. But you know what? I find pride and joy out of the airlines just as much as much as if I find pride and joy out of the railroad. I wish I can fucking learn English. I know me talking's not the best idea, just because my brain it doesn't connect with my mouth sometimes, and I stutter. So it sucks, just growing up the way I did. But there's always some uniqueness towards it, and there's just something I can't always explain to people. And people look at me like, man, what's wrong with you? It's like, well, there's a lot of things wrong with me, but at the same time, I'm happy. There's times where I hate myself, and there's times where it's what I can do and what I've brought myself to do is super unique. When I worked for NS, I couldn't tell you how terrified I was, because everything I learned, right? Everything I'm telling you guys is the lessons I wished I learned when I worked for NS. I didn't learn those lessons. I found out the hard way and it didn't work out. Well, other reasons made it why it didn't work out, which I'm not going to get into that because that's private information. That's why I left NS. I got my act together, got my shit together. I went to BNSF. I got my, I learned all my mistakes from my past, and that reflects on my present and my future. Guys and gals, I feel safer. I feel much comfortable with what I'm doing. I know how to ask questions. I know how to do things better than I was able to when I first started out. I have 100% confidence. NS, the biggest yard I worked out of, and my territory stretched from Lynchburg, Virginia, on the Danville, Washington District, through Manassas, up the B line, go to Front Royal, and then up the H line to Hagerstown. The biggest yard I had to deal with was probably 10 tracks. a 10-track yard. I work for BNSF out of Kansas City, Kansas. I'm in Argentine Yard. 120 tracks, I want to say. A rough estimate of 120 tracks. Yes, it is massive. I thought when I came into BNSF, I thought I made a mistake. But I seeked through it, and now I'm super comfortable with the yard. I know what to do. I know how to do things. I know how to ask questions. I know something's wrong. I know how to fix things. I know how to do things. My confidence is now super high thanks to all the lessons I've learned from the people I've learned through life to get me where I'm at. And you guys can do that too. So, if you think the railroad's for you, welcome aboard. If you don't think it's for you, well, you know what? That's okay. That's completely your opinion. You know? It's one thing. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. Here's another myth, right? Well, it's not. It's yes and no. It's a myth. It depends who you're working with, right? It depends who the crew is, the engineer, conductor, brakeman, whoever. A lot of rail buffs do not join the railroad because they're scared of people finding out the rail buffs. I want to tell you this. Nobody cares. If they care so much, those are the people that don't have a life or never had a life. They had to join the railroad because they didn't have a choice. And now they're screwing themselves over because they don't know how to navigate through life itself. If you want to work for the railroad, work for the railroad. But one thing is, when you're working for the railroad, you are working. You're not there to, you can enjoy trains. You can enjoy what you see. You know, don't be a foamer about it. Don't stop your train to take pictures. Don't put yourself in a safety sensitive predicament to where you're going to be in an unsafe situation just to see, like a Ferromex unit or foreign power or something rare that, as a rail buff, it's okay to freak out about, be, excited for. But on the railroad, you're working. It is a huge change. It is a complete different environment for being a rail buff. I could still work and enjoy the railroad. I could still do that because I learned how to channel everything, right? I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people have a problem with me doing that stuff, but you know what? It's because they hate rail buffs because they hate their jobs. That's literally the only reason. And yes, there's some rail buffs out there who are stupid enough to do dumb things like trespass, break into locomotives, try to get on railroad frequency and completely disturb everybody from working, or get into engineer and conductor's faces about a million questions they have. I never did. I don't show any disrespect for people who actually enjoy trains. I don't. The only people I do have a problem with are those who do not respect the railroad. If you're going to have a hobby that interferes with somebody or somebody else's life, that's a problem. If you're going to enjoy a hobby that you can safely enjoy and let other people go on with their day and their life and you just enjoy your time, that's 100% respectable, right? Don't get into the crew's face. Don't trespass to get the perfect shot of some heritage unit. It's just a painted locomotive, guys. It's cool, but at the end of the day, it's just a painted locomotive. It's not worth your life. It's not worth somebody else's life. It's not worth getting police called. It's not worth any of that. And yes, you're going to have cops called on you. I've had cops called on me many times because I'm a guy next to train tracks with a camera, right? Even though I'm in a safe distance, I'm in a public place to where I can safely rail fan without interfering with crews or anybody in the public. I'm doing my own thing. I'm like in my own little bubble. There's some people who do not recognize that I'm of the hobby that I'm doing, and so cops get called. I never really had problems with cops. I've never have. I've always been respectful. Gave my information, told them what I'm doing, show them what I'm doing, show them how it works, and they're cool. Never had a problem ever. And now I'm 23 years old, and in the 21 years I've loved trains, I've really never had problems. There's times where I've actually have problems because people are just hateful. They're just hateful people. That's it, But they're so I'm not going to get into all that. it's a whole other hour I can talk about that shit from personal experience with my friends or my friends getting into the situation. So I can literally make examples of everybody I know. So, but I'm not going to do that. That's not what this video is for. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for understanding what these updates are about. And thank you for your continuous support. I know that my channel is really not going anywhere. I never planned it to really go anywhere. It was just something that I thought was cool. And I'm just, life gets in the way sometimes. And, can't really do stuff as much as I could back then. I was in high school when I was a kid. When I go rail fanning on the weekends with my family, with my friends, my parents, it's Friday and school's out. Saturday, Sunday, I'm going rail fanning. I'm going to do my homework and I'm going to go rail fanning. Or, I got 2 days off a week when I work for the airlines. I'm going rail fanning. I have flight benefits. I'm going to use my flight benefits to go watch trains, It's just, it's just all kinds of stuff. But, yeah, looking back when I was a kid, enjoying trains, and looking where I'm at right now, enjoying what I do, and making a lot of a lot of good money with fantastic benefits, like insurances, discounts on stuff. It's incredible, I'm really happy and enjoy what I do. My life is coming back together slowly. I'm happier. I have a beautiful fiance. I love her to death. I never thought I would ever see the day to where I would have somebody by my side. I thought it was going to be working forever. And she's got headphones on, but it's incredible to see where life took me. And I gotta say, I'm not one to be mad at all. I'm not one to be upset, to be hateful, to be disgusted, anything like that. I'm truly happy where I'm at. I'm happy with where life is going right now, and I just can't wait to see what happens in life. So, and you guys can experience that too. You just gotta have some hope. You gotta work a lot, and you gotta build yourself. The key in life is building yourself. If you don't have any ground to stand on, well, you need to find a way to build yourself a ground to stand on and build upwards. Because the only way you can go, if your rock bottom is up, you can't get further than rock bottom. If you did something wrong, right? Going below rock bottom just doesn't happen out of the blue. It really doesn't, And you can have a million events happen at the same time, but only you can determine where your rock bottom is, and you get to determine your direction is. That's life as an adult. It sucks sometimes. We have to make bad decisions. We have to do bad things. A lot of times we have to do good, or as a reward, we have good things that come. You can't have good without bad, but you can't have bad without good. It all balances out. It balances itself out. So, at 42 minutes and 35 seconds, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any comments, questions, if you have any suggestions, if you're a railroader yourself and you have a story to tell, please leave a comment down below. I do look at all my notifications as much as I can. As always, feel free to continue to subscribe. I'm going to try to get my channel going again. I'm going to record a few simulator videos, show you my grip, which is like my railroad supplies, and show you what you need, this, that, and the third. PPE, personal protective equipment, what to buy, what Rare provides, do all this kind of stuff. If you have any suggestions of videos you want me to make, please let me know. I'm open to suggestions, always. Till next time, thank you guys so much for watching. My fiance and I, we are going to have a blast, just enjoying the night, because I'm not going to get called for a train tonight. I'm so happy. So I get to relax for a little bit, and then back to work, where I can make all that bread. So, without being without anything else. So. Alright, with that being said, thank you guys so much. This is Strengths Productions. Good night, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Have a wonderful New Year's. I'll probably make videos before New Year's and Christmas, but if I don't, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa, by the way, and Happy New Year if I don't make any videos until then. This is Strengths Productions. Good night.